Cocktail tátra chocolate seo an jobh tá sé tábhachtach go bhfuil agóid déanta. It's very important that people have come to the Dail, to the Oireachtas, to make sure that there is a protest against the disgraceful changes that Joan Burton as Minister has introduced. The first change was to increase the amount that the tenant had to give without any increase in the amount that they got in social welfare. The second change is the change that this protest is about, is the rent cap itself. It is illogical to ask people who already have so much going on in their life, so much pressure in their lives, to then go and negotiate with landlords who are not willing to negotiate. Most of the landlords that I have dealt with want to go the other way. They want to increase their rent rather than decrease it, because they also are saying they're under pressure. Now, I'm not going to stand and defend landlords or advocate on their behalf. They have their own organisation and their own association, and that is the group that the government and the department needs to negotiate changes in rents with. It should not be left on individual tenants to negotiate on behalf of the government. That is the job of department officials. That has always been the job. The government, in their programme for government, they announced that for another service that is provided for people often who are on social welfare, the household benefits package, that the government will negotiate with the service providers, so the likes of ESP, Airtricity and that, to try and get a savings for the state in terms of how much they pay for the electricity and the lights. The same logic needs to be applied in this case. The department officials need to negotiate with the landlords. If they don't, people already are facing homelessness. People already, and you are testament to friends of mine, colleagues and also constituents have come to me to say they're going to have to move out of the area. And it's not moved by a mile or two in some cases in Dublin. It's moved whole lock, stock and barrel out of the area that they have built up relationships with their neighbours. They have put their children to the local schools, but also in many cases the support base that they have, their own families are living in that area. So if you're kind of a single parent and you are trying to build your life, often you are dependent on your mother, your brother or somebody else to help out on occasions. But if you're a parent who have a child with special needs, often again you are dependent on parents or special schools and that. And this government are saying, no, you have to move. And when I argued, for instance, with Minister Joan Burton, I think it was 2 weeks ago, for instance, a case that I had of a woman living in an apartment block, it was half finished apartment block in Leopardstown. She said, oh no, there's no problem in Leopardstown. And I said, use the NAMA properties. There's no NAMA properties in Leopardstown. Well, sorry to say, there's NAMA properties right across this country, whether it's in Dublin or that. That's one solution, is that the state gives over, hands over NAMA properties to local authorities, and then you address a lot of those people who are on rent supplement, because then they're housed by the local authority. You address what some people are saying is a poverty trap, because then if they're in local authority housing, they can get a part-time job and pay an increased rent to the local authority. But the key thing is, this rent cap change has to stop and be reversed immediately, and so people have the stability and they can stay in their homes. And the department then needs, and when the rents come up for renewal, when the tenancy comes up for renewal, they need to negotiate on behalf of that tenant, or on behalf of us as taxpayers, not the tenant themselves. So thanks everybody for being here, and well done again. Hey.